Right. So this is basically a system to help you put tension on the sail without having to sit on the floor and getting your wet bum and you know, hurting your back. Or a lot of the times when we're rigging big sails is you wrap the rope around and you have to pull really hard, and then you get cuts in your hand, which is really painful, especially if you've got dry hands. It can really damage your hands. But yeah, this is the Power.xt, which makes it a lot easier. They are a little bit more expensive, but I literally don't use anything else.
Swear by them.
I know, a lot of people use them. So most sail manufacturers will put different types of pulley systems on here depending on what extension they sell. DUOTONE are pretty good. They put the 3 pulley system on there, even though we only need to use 2.
Okay.
It means if you don't have a Power.xt and you might have another extension, you can still use this sail. But yeah, basically this is just they call it like a loop and go. I think different brands have different terminology for it, but this is basically a loop and go system. So you pass the loop. This is again the first time the sail's been used, so it's quite tight. It will get easier. Loop through onto the eyelet on the pulley on the back side like that.
Right.
And that's pretty much it in terms of fiddling.
Yeah.
You used to, if you didn't have a loop and go system, have to run one rope through.
Yeah, I remember.
Round again, and remember which order it has to go in, and then you can pull on the downhill. But yeah, basically, like I was saying to you, to keep this working for the longest amount of time, is basically to do the bottom bit with at least one of your full arm lengths.
Yes.
So there's a decent amount of tension in this rope.
Okay.
Like I always just overdo it a little bit and then put it in the cleat, and then you don't have to worry about that ever again, really. You leave that like that, and then the rest of it is all done by the ratchet. So we'll just basically, you can see how easy that is. It's in the plus setting.
Yes.
Minus is for taking it off. We'll do that after. But yeah, as it comes through, what I generally do is pass that first bit through, so it's on the right side and they're both together, because ultimately we're going to store them. I personally store them in this netted bag here. Right. So it can become difficult to get that rope if it's on this side when this gap becomes smaller. So the first thing I do is tuck that through, bang it through to the bottom, and then we're basically good to go. So as we're going, we're just looking at the sail. You'll get, as you do this more and more frequently, you'll kind of understand that like it needs to be right down. So we'll keep going. And as we're doing this, it's basically putting tension between the top of the sail and the bottom of the sail and making the mast curve, which is then basically causing tension across the sail. Yes. We want the sail to be nice and taut throughout. Yep. But you have the leech, which is the top left-hand side with those little mini battens, and you can start to see that it's starting to go a little bit floppy on the left-hand side. Right. And that's where those visual trimming guides come in. So there's little squares in that top panel. Yeah. Yeah. You basically want those floppy bits. Yes. To just start to encroach on those squares. So we'll keep these ropes. So I personally just try and bundle them up and stuff them in this little bag. Just tuck it in there. Oh wow, yeah. Again, if you've got a different type of extension, you generally have to wrap it around and tie knots in it. And again, I'm going to leave that in plus. And then yeah, you're pretty much there. And again, that tie, that same piece of elastic, keeps it all nice and neat. Yeah. But once with the Power.xt, when you're trying to remove tension, obviously you're storing it and you're using it on plus, which is the adding tension, adding downhill. You're going to remove. So I've taken the rope out of the bag just so it can run freely as it's releasing. You then switch it over to minus, and basically you turn it all the way around to the bottom and basically pull it towards yourself, and you can just slowly let off one click at a time the downhill until basically, like I said to you before, these things like to work under load, under tension. You'll find that it will stop allowing you to take off downhill when the tension has basically, the mast has straightened and the pressure has released so much, it will basically stop working. So there, it's not really doing anything now. So at that point, you want to get into a habit of switching it to plus, right, and then tucking it away and leaving it until next time. It's very easy to leave it in minus, and as I said, that puts a strain on that spring, and over time it will just wear out. Basically. It's
left in plus.
Left in plus, yeah. As much as possible, just leave it in plus. And then to release the last bit, generally I put the sail back down because I might be enclosed. I don't want to get on the floor. I stand on the bottom of the sail and I pull it towards myself, and then basically let it slide off. And then because it's a loop and go system again, don't untie any knots, just leave it all as it is. Just undo that loop, and then pretty much it should pretty much fall out. Very quick, nice and easy. And then yeah, if you want to store it away nice and neat, you can tuck that round and put a little bit of tension on. But you don't have to. And then you can just tuck an extra extension, it's all good to go. And then it's good to just rinse them with fresh water. I mean, like once a year, I'll bathe it all in a nice hot soapy water bucket, just so all the salt that's built up inside there. But a rinse with fresh water will definitely do it good.
Right. Okay.
But I rarely,
all the time.
rarely do, but it will definitely help them. They do work better once they.
It's salt water, isn't it?
Exactly, it just builds up. So that's